Welcome to Explain America. I'm your host, Kyle Becker. Well, Representative Ilhan Omar in Minnesota is going on a whirlwind media tour. She's trying to rehabilitate her image in the light of a Minnesota church tragedy that saw 2 children lose their lives and 17 more people injured. And of course, she is afraid of a backlash against her for allowing this to happen with her brazen anti-Semitic and anti-Christian rhetoric. But she has her own spin on what is the solution to such tragedies, and I don't think you're going to necessarily approve of it. But before we get into this, please like, share, and join Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, obviously, there are a lot of sensitive factors around the church tragedy that the mainstream media feels very uncomfortable discussing. And obviously, Representative Ilhan Omar, who is a radical activist herself, is going to find herself on the defense regarding the exact language and conditions that led to the church tragedy. For example, the perpetrator of this left many anti-Christian remarks, anti-Trump remarks, and Representative Ilhan Omar, obviously, she doesn't feel like she wants to cede the rhetorical terrain to her political opponents. So what is her solution to this? Well, you're not going to be surprised one bit.
Appreciate this journey. I agree with the mayor. I'm not, the thoughts and prayers, I'm so beyond that nonsense, the lie of that. Because what we have are people who continue to stand in the way of actually doing something to stop the violence against their own kids. It is amazing to me. We watch young kids die in classrooms and now in church.
Of course, one of the things that she did was blame the weapons.
Congressman Omar is back with us, and you were at the school today. What did you hear from the parents, the teachers, the kids who were there?
And unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity. As you know, these families, the victims, and the neighbors are experiencing an unspeakable tragedy. And as a mother of young children, I can't even imagine what it must have felt knowing that they had just dropped their kids off, that they were in their morning mass, literally praying, which is one of the most normal and wholesome things that we want our children involved, and to have someone come in and assassinate their children, and a few moments later to get a phone call to be told that your beautiful angels that you just dropped off in school are no longer alive or are hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. And so my heart breaks for these families and the victims. And I hope that we all continue to pray for them to be made whole, for them to find a space to grieve, and for them to, and the whole community to come out of this tragedy better and hopefully change the way our society continues to normalize these kind of tragedies that we see every day.
You said after the shooting that you're committed to, quote, doing everything I can to stop these tragedies from occurring ever again. I think the question that everyone has watching tonight is how?
I mean, that is a question that we've asked ourselves. When Columbine happened back when I was in high school, we've asked ourselves that question when we saw little babies being slaughtered in Sandy Hook. We continue to ask ourselves that question. What I can tell you is that we collectively have a solution. We know that when we allow as a country for guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is in the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies. When we do not collectively as a community in the United States address mental health illness, when we don't see these children and communities that are impacted and, look for signs that tell us there is something wrong. We know that the assailant in this tragedy had a YouTube page where he was posting, documenting the kind of insanity that unfolded.
They're so predictable, trying to exploit every tragedy to turn it into political means of control. There are tens of millions of law-abiding firearms owners in this country who don't commit any acts of violence whatsoever. So once again, Representative Ilhan Omar, she's off base. And tell us what you think about what she has to say about this and how she's handling this in the media in general. We appreciate hearing from you.